Sit back, grab your popcorn, grab your water, your food, and enjoy the video. 20 minutes long?
Earth is filled with
We'll see how
wonderful
long
and
it takes me to
bizarre
eat.
occurrences that we're often left unable to explain. With so many of these events being very rare, we are often left without any ability to experience these natural events. From the starling flocks phenomena to Pele's hair, here are 15 craziest natural phenomena recorded on camera. Number 15. Starling flocks phenomena. On its own, a starling doesn't cause a lot of problems. It's a bird the size of a tennis ball with feathers that have a dark, velvety hue.
Has anyone ever seen that in real life?
In any case, the starling creates stunning designs in an unusually marvelous fashion, as starlings gather in flocks numbering into the hundreds of thousands over open fields to produce an effect that makes it look like art from another dimension. Converging around each other, guided by the wind and instinct, the dark forms in flight are an expression of reality that appears to be inspired by an attraction to entropy. The question that doesn't have an obvious answer is why. The aerial patterns of birds are
I would just be scared that a bird's gonna like poop on me.
View of their surroundings.
Like
birds,
if you were underneath that,
starlings themselves frequently group into large flocks to
you'd
defend themselves from birds of prey. The more numbers in a flock, the less likely each bird would be caught by wild predators. Yet starling flocks also fly in such formations when there are no predators near them. That doesn't explain the full story and leaves many questions. Do you know why the starling flock phenomena occurs? Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 14. Pele's hair. Sometimes life is a bit too hot to handle, yet when things cool down and you start getting a grip on things, what's left can be quite wonderful to behold. This leads us to the term Pele's hair, which is essentially a form of fiber that is cooled down to a kind of molten glass that forms out of the lava, and because of the speed at which the lava lengthens. It's kind of like canned spaghetti, except thinner, with less sauce and a little firmer. Because of this, the lava cools in small, thin threads.
Skil af sér, kannski þetta eitt af furðulegasta.
Pele's hair fibers can be several meters long and just a fraction of a millimeter in diameter. These light fibers are then transported away by the breeze. They can be taken away a few kilometers from the vents. Where the wind blows, the Pele's hair will follow.
I thought those were spider
Will you be there
webs.
to catch it? The next time you think of heating up your spaghetti in a microwave, take a moment to contemplate the memory of Pele's hair. When it's finished blowing in the wind, may it rest in peace, or pieces. Number 13. Eternal Flame Falls. There's a little waterfall called the Everlasting Flame Falls. Whether the falls will be everlasting or not is a questionable statement. It sounds like a meditative space with sacred meaning. The Eternal Flame Falls Valley is an iconic and unusual waterfall that is potentially quite a dangerous environment.
How's it doing that?
The waterfall
So,
is
like,
named
gas
because
coming
of
out
a
of the
simple
ground?
phenomenon, a natural gas spill right below the waterfall which just happens to ignite. The flame is not necessarily eternal in the way that it often
Wouldn't
goes
it
out.
blow
It's
up?
also relit by passengers, because while the gas is natural, the flames being ignited are affected by the passersby. The falls emit natural gas which has the smell of rotten eggs, truly a wonderful aroma that sets the tone. The gases produced during the decomposition of the organics within the rock deposits are under pressure and push out through cracks and loose layers within the rock. It's unbelievable that the pressure of the gas outlet over time doesn't cause the rock to burst, a place where water and fire meet. Isn't it fascinating that something like this is even possible? Number 12. Desert Rose Selenite, meaning and properties. Gypsum Rose. Imagine a rose as a gift given to someone special made completely out of sand. That's the Desert Rose Selenite, shaped by water, wind, and sand that develops over a few hundred years. The wind
it
will
just looks like a
continuously
rock.
blow on the selenite that embeds the sand in the blades. With time, the water tends to create a rose-like shape. Some cultures say that the desert rose invokes the properties of mental insight, energy cleansing, and inner reality. Desert Rose helps to rid the mind of old thought processes and opening
Kinda
up
looks
the
like a
flow
brain.
of guidance from your intuition.
Yeah, it does.
It would be interesting to know what a chemist would say about the organic structure
Hey,
of
what's
the
up,
desert
Iggy?
rose and how it affects humans. My guess, if something like this makes a difference, it has something to do with electrons and positive and negative electric charges. Regardless of the thoughts behind how a desert rose came to be and what it does for the mind and body, there's no denying that it is a beautiful natural art. An incredible thing to be able to see with our own eyes and a testament to the beauty in life. Number 11. Bioluminescent waves.
Oh, I've seen this.
Illuminating the night, the bioluminescent wonder is absolutely stunning in its beauty. The ocean can shine like the stars in the sky thanks to a natural chemical process known as bioluminescence, which allows living things to produce light in their bodies. With the generation and release of light from a living organism, it's kind of an
That's pretty
organic
cool, I
cocktail
guess.
with the combination of colors creating an illuminating and brilliant result. The bioluminescent sea will glow when disturbed by a wave breaking or a splash in the water at night. I reckon out of all the incredible and unique things related to the ocean, visually, this is definitely at the top for the human eye. Marine creatures, either to confuse predators with disarray or to attract prey with illusion or even to attract potential mates with this inviting phenomenon, using the manipulation of light to survive in the wilderness. Isn't it incredible how natural creatures even utilize organic light manipulation processes to survive? Could you imagine a gigantic glowing wave rising above the sky with marine creatures swimming and lighting up the night? How incredibly poetic. Number 10. Penitente's spiky snow formation in the Andes. Some of the coolest things in the world are not usually experienced by the human eye. Interestingly, the phenomenon called penitentes is formed at very high altitude glaciers, where the air is dry and the blanket of protection that covers the ground level from the ruthless heat of the sun, snow will develop into impressive thin ice blades up in the freezing cold icy mountaintops, growing up to a few meters tall.
The giant penitentes. Amazing, amazing view.
A pretty cool
I
natural
don't know.
event, wouldn't you say? One could even say that it's sort of like
Doesn't
a
really look
forest
that
in the
cool.
mountains with huge frozen water trees. Kind of like an elegant crystallized pine tree. Ugh, all this ice talk freezes the socks off. They take the form of tall, thin blades of frozen snow or ice, closely spaced with blades pointed towards the general direction of light. These pinnacles of snow or ice are rising at incredibly high altitudes in the glacial and snow-covered regions. Blue hues on a golden sunset, the tops of the mountains like a spear striking fiercely into the sky. When night falls on this icy, spiky battlefield, the conflict rages between the elements. Number 9. Fire Whirls. There aren't many things as relaxing as staring into a fire on a nice
Tornadoes
cool
of
evening
fire?
contemplating life. However, another fascinating option for the fire lovers out there are fire whirls. They present a strong intensification of combustion, usually during large urban and wildfires. However, they are obscured with many features. A mixture of wind and fuel to produce something like a sandstorm, but with fire and smoke. A scorching heat that looks pretty awesome, but
Holy.
is vicious. They are not understood well, with most understanding coming from a laboratory as they're very dangerous to approach, due to the high strength and force and temperature of the flames. Also, the destructive powers of the momentum that acts like a wind funnel. The best guess at understanding this epic reaction is really a combination of just about everything you would expect, between heat and wind, geometry, and gravity. The natural reaction of high winds and a large fuel source pushing the flames to desolate the surrounding area. The end product is still a mysterious whirlwind that carries with it the fury of nature's wrath, with aesthetics that make the jaw drop because it's not something you see every day, perhaps even in an entire lifetime. Number 8. Snow Rollers. It looks like snow rolls itself into big, donut-shaped snowballs. But instead of going to a bakery, you're going to a frozen field of icy fascination. This elegant natural art showcases a wonderful display. As if not from this planet, the grace and sophistication of the mesmerizing funnel
Doesn't like
is a
wind just
swelling
blow
mix
the
of
snow?
ice and snow, which spirals in such an organized manner. It's a phenomenon that exists only in optimal circumstances. Kind of like frying an egg. If you leave it too long, it'll burn, but if you turn it at the right time, it'll have the right texture, and if you don't heat it for long enough, it just won't harden. The perfect conditions for a snow roller to be able to shape requires a light snow dust that's moist enough to stick to the ground, but loose enough so it doesn't adhere. Wind speeds must be high enough to force the snow down the ice so that it coils up into a signature snow roller style, looking like a wave breaking overhead about to trap the unconscious surfer frozen. The shape is really something exquisite
really know
that
if
nature
that's
has been able
that
to
amazing.
produce. It's a wonder
I mean,
that there aren't any
it's
ice
just snow.
creams designed with this in mind. Number 7. Morocco's tree climbing goats. Why is it that if you see something unusual going on, it's usually a goat in the center of the thick of it? This is what seems to be going on here, as the goat climbed up to get a bird's eye view of the nearby landscape. I can't tell you why it seems to have captivated the attention of the surrounding audience. In a place called Marrakesh on the heated, dusty roads, a type of tree called the argan pepper exists.
There's a bunch of goats hanging out in a tree.
It's rust-colored, eschewing a landscape that harbors many unusual things, including the strangest tree-climbing mammals, not letting any hooves get in the way. Argan trees grow a fruit that is reminiscent of a crushed olive. It ripens around June every year. The crafty, ingenious goats, hungry for the bitter taste and scent, will climb the argan tree at a chance for them. They have gnarled, thorny branches, and
There's like a
they may
group
not
of
be
people
pretty,
just like
they
looking
draw
at
a
them.
lot of attention
That's
from
awkward.
fans, including herds of starving goats that are in their crooked roots, often more than a dozen in a single tree. Number 6. Dust Storm. During high gale winds, the wind's vicious energy moves over loosely hitting particles with enough force to
Has
counter
anyone
the
ever
gravity
seen one of
keeping
those?
them down. This increases the sand particles' movements. They tend to vibrate at first, then later travel over the surface. With a loosening roar and rocking force, they repeatedly touch the ground, loosening up and breaking down all the tiny dust particles.
Has to be like really rare.
Which then continue to travel in suspension. At wind rates above what allows the smallest to be suspended,
That'd be pretty
there
crazy
will
to
be
see,
a population of dust grains going. Sand and dust storms typically arise as strong winds with a building momentum, lifting vast quantities of sand and dust from bare, dry surfaces to the atmosphere that would otherwise be stagnant. Over the past decade, awareness is rising at the effects that humanity has had on the quantity and impact that we have on causing these destructive events to occur. There's only so much you can do to combat the raw power of one of the Earth's natural elemental monsters, the dust storm. What would you do if you were stuck in the middle of a dust storm? Number 5. Blue holes. Many hypotheses have emerged throughout the years on the nature and purpose of these deep, dark blue holes. The mystery is almost as awesome as the outcome. The explanation for this is that they are very difficult to quantify and measure using current ordinary intellectual resources. An interesting point, the debate is out whether they should be a protected area since they have allowed marine life to flourish. Being sheltered away from the open ocean,
That'd
they
be so
foster
scary
a
to
huge
dive
array
into.
of organic, habitual sea
I hate
life.
swimming
One
in
of the
water where
coolest
you,
things
like,
about
can't
them,
see the
aside
bottom.
from the rich and
It's just, like,
flourishing
pitch
abundance
black.
of life, is that when you look directly down on a blue hole, there is a color discrepancy between the rest of the
Hey,
ocean
what's up, Green
and the
Emerald?
circular blue hole which leads deep into the sea floor. Can you imagine what it would be like to be that deep underwater in a swimsuit? The pressure would be crushing, you wouldn't be able to see anything, and everything would want to eat you. No thanks, I'm good. Perhaps let the sea be the sea, and I'll be focusing on seeing things with my own two eyes on dry land. What do you think? Are you game for a dive in a deep blue hole? Number 4. Bioluminescent
might.
forest. Mysterious things always seem to happen at night while we're asleep. Unlike the horrors that we hear of in other scenarios, however, this wonderful and resonating environment comes to life. The jungles of the Maharashtra Bhim-Shankar Wildlife Reserve are approximately 100 kilometers east of Mumbai. When every step leaves you with another dose of anxiety, all those insects can sense your fear, and the big predators lay in wait, hoping to snatch you up and digest you. Why would anybody enter this fearsome jungle? The monsoon season allows the leeches, the slippery slopes, and the rain to thrive. It's the best time of year for the bioluminescent forest to come to life. Incessant downpour brought the bleak and rugged terrain to life.
Why does everything glow?
New grass coated almost every inch of the typically dark scenery. And yet, in the midst of this hidden vast conclave is a secret. When the night comes along, the lights turn on, and the beauty of this mysterious and incredible jungle comes to life with vivid and stunning echoing acoustics. Would you take on the wonder of a forest that is alive with color akin to a paradise hidden in the depths if it included potential health risks that could paralyze you or worse? Number 3. Taos Hum. In the dry, dusty, quiet town
Our video's
of
almost
Taos,
done. I'm
a
almost done.
relaxed arts community located in the north-central region of New Mexico is apparently
I'm
an
eating
odd
some barbecue
mystery,
Lays.
a resident hum of uncertain origin, the so-called Taos Hum. Critics of this claim will say that humans live in a continuous sea of background noise, so it's not really a surprise that there would be frequencies that the human ear would find uncomfortable in a certain area. Also, low frequencies travel further, so it would be expected that some sensitive ears would be able to hear a faint low frequency note. Secondly, there are hundreds of possible sources of noise, including traffic, ships, aircraft, insects, massive machinery, wind, freight trains, mines, and other industries.
It's that sort of a sound.
Superstitious protagonists would argue that although many people can believe
I don't know
that it
what
should
they're
be easy
talking
to
about.
find the source of the sound, it may be very difficult in reality. A really vast combination of ideas has been offered as the reason, ranging from the mundane to the fantastic, the disjointed, psychological to the creepy paranormal. Every story you can imagine under the sun has been thought up to as to why these people claim to experience these noises. Number 2.
There's schizo-
Mammatus clouds. The name Mammatus is quite fascinating. Could be worth looking up the origin of the name. The brilliance of this bizarre pattern is not something that the average human can comprehend entirely. Mammatus clouds
I'm pretty sure
are
I've
clouds
seen that.
form a
I've seen that in
very
real life.
strange pattern, quite like bubble wrap. Depending
It
on
looks
the
crazy.
color of the backdrop, the view will change in appearance and often is very stunning. Although it can seem quite frightening in the right conditions, as if the sky was falling on your head. They are somewhat argued to form pockets of sinking air. Protruding from an overhanging wave of clouds, they usually come with a thunderstorm as company. Being cold, most of these clouds are made of ice. Consider wearing a hard helmet just in case. Each Mammatus cloud has the ability to last for up to 10 to 15 minutes and can reach very long lengths. People equate them with extreme weather. They're interesting in part because they are created by sinking weather. Although there's a large amount of unnecessary superstition attached to them, Mammatus clouds can look ominous and foreboding, so it's easy to see why people get worked up about them. Yet, in a way that's so normal in nature, they are dangerous dangerous presence goes hand in hand with majestic elegance. Number 1. Monarch Butterfly Migration. The beautiful and
Really?
radiant
That's number
monarch,
one?
reflecting the warmth of the sun and the beauty of reality. These mythical, vivid, and true wonders of nature illuminate the setting in which they find themselves. After an upbringing, the monarch is finally ready to spread its wings and fly on a journey to a distant land which is up to 2,000 miles away.
Why are there so many of them?
Great distance is a mystery.
The only butterfly known to do a two-way type of migration similar to the migration of long-distance traveling birds. Unable to survive freezing temperatures like other butterflies, the monarch butterflies have the ability to sense that the air is getting too cold for them through environmental sensory hints, and so they prepare for their long voyage of safety and security. The great risk is that they are very sensitive to the temperature, and so any sharp change can cause them to literally die. They are very fragile and wonderful insects for the human being to experience. Have you ever seen the monarch butterfly migration in your life? Was it incredible to witness? What did you think of our 15 craziest natural phenomena recorded on camera? Have you been able to film or see any incredibly rare natural phenomena in your life? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now.